and welcome back to our social hour. This is Family and Society with me, Shiko Kaitani. We're talking about addictions and the role of the family. Where do you come in as the support system? And for you who obviously is going through it, battling, we want you to know that, by the way, there is support that's out there, and it is possible, by the way, to get onto that road of recovery. Apostle Peter Wainaina is here with us this morning, sharing the good news with each and every one of you, encouraging young people, because he absolutely has a love for the youth as well as the family unit. And Apostle, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
In the second half, obviously, we're going to start getting into more solution-based discussions, but we've got a question here from Maureen, someone who's enjoying the show, saying, by the way, what exactly is the difference between an enabler and someone who is simply supporting? Because there's a very fine line between you being my father or me being your spouse and supporting you through and enabling you. So how do I know the difference of what I'm doing?
I want to get your question right. Yeah. There is the enabler, that person that is enabling me to continue with addiction, and then
there's someone who now is saying, but I'm supporting the individual. That's not enabling. So is there a difference between the two?
Supporting the individual to stop, or with life, or?
I suppose with love.
Yeah, because maybe this is what I give him money to buy food for. This is what I give him money to pay rent, and maybe he changes to that.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, there is a difference. But in both cases, you can be enabling or supporting, and yet you are enabling without knowing.
And I think that's what the point is, not knowing.
Not knowing.
Yeah.
And you need to be very clear, and you need to give instruction that when I give you this money, it is not to be taken to this and this. This money should go to this kind of, because that's, especially money is the issue. Because when they don't have money, sometimes they don't get the drugs,
right,
or they don't go to gambling, or they don't go to the shopping spree. So what happens is you have to give instruction. If I'm supporting you, I give you instruction what to do with the money, and follow up. Even if actually I could be able to pay to that place you're going to get, if it's shopping, if I could be able to go and pay direct to the shop, that it would be better.
I'll do it for you.
These days things are easy. You give me the pay bill number, give me the buy good number, and I'll pay from where I am, so that you don't enable this person to continue.
Right. And I think that even support doesn't always have to be monetary.
Yes.
I could be supporting you by just being around you and helping you,
yes, of course,
in your day-to-day life. Just supporting you, being around the household with chores and all that. There's so many ways you can support someone.
Yes, actually you could also be supporting this person by your words.
Right.
The way you talk, you're encouraging him or discouraging him to stop. So of course what you're saying, support is, it can be in many ways, not only monetary, it can be even by the word of the mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also important.
And I've also seen some people telling them, he will stop when he wants. Even his grandfather was like that. The grandmother was, and you are neighboring that.
Right. And you're saying it's okay, you'll stop when you can.
Wachana naye akunywe, ataacha tu. Hata babu yake alikuwa mlevi tu. Actually, as Kikuyus, we have this saying that he is following his namesake. You know how we name our children?
Yes.
I am named after my grandfather, and he died with a bike coming from drinking. And when I started, there was somebody who would say, amefuata yule amenimiwa tu.
Oh my gosh.
Those things are there. And with that, you are enabling that, you are supporting that person to continue.
With your words.
With your words. So you can do it with your words. Yes.
Okay. Have you seen cases, and I'm really curious to get your take on this, cases of where families use forceful ways, can I say, or strategies to place individuals in rehabilitation? I mean, there's a lot of tricking, there's a lot of, can I say, abduction, because it's essentially kidnapping. If you take me, without my consent, you've kidnapped me. So, but there's also the trickery that
Yes.
comes into it. And I'm wondering, Apostle, if families are feeling like they're at their wits' end with an individual,
Yes.
and they feel that the only way to trick them, I mean, to get them into rehab is to either trick them or to forcefully take them there physically. I mean, what would you say in such a scenario?
Thank God for this generation that is more liberal and yeah, they have opened up. They have opened up their mind and eyes. But let me tell you,
Yeah.
in our days, when we were young, you would use force.
Yeah.
And very sad to say, sometimes it worked. Because there was no time this person would voluntarily go to the rehab.
Yeah.
But these days, I am seeing young men saying, I need help.
Yeah.
And I want to go to the rehab. I'm seeing young people saying that I'm fed up with this
Yeah.
thing. I want my life back. Because, Shiko, I have seen a big percent of these young people.
Yeah.
When you talk to them and you talk to them with love, you talk to them nicely, they are ready and willing to change.
Wow.
A very small percent is okay with status quo. Most of them are ready and willing to change.
Wow,
If
that's
you come
amazing.
to our area, there are even some churches that have started Kanisa Mitaani. This is a service
Yeah.
for these young people. Like me, we are usually with them every first Saturday of the month.
Right.
I do breakfast for them, and they all come to church. I wish I had come with such photos. And
I know. Where
Yeah.
are they? You should have brought them. Yeah. But next time
next time
utatuonyesha.
itaonyesha.
Yeah.
I have them. But now, these young men, after I talk to them, a big number of them is ready to change. They want help.
Yeah.
They are crying for help. There's not that umanga that was there before.
All right.
Yeah, most of them, it's like they entered this without knowing, and they are ready to change.
Oh, that's amazing.
I have
That's amazing.
some in church.
Yeah.
The guy who plays keyboard in church. Yeah, one day we'll do a program with them here so that you can hear from them.
Yeah.
There is, like now I recently got another one called Brian. Brian was actually here at Kijabi Street here. He was working somewhere outside here.
Oh, really?
Yes. And Brian came to, I have a church in Westlands where we do lunch hours.
Yeah.
I don't know how he found his way there. And he came. And he told me he was sleeping somewhere in Kijabi Street and
Yeah.
he want to change. And we started the journey with Brian.
And yeah, today is a completely
He
changed
is
man.
a complete changed man. He is in the media department
Oh, wow.
in our church and doing a beautiful work.
Wow, fantastic.
So
So
this-
people are opening up.
People are opening up. This
That's good.
generation is
This
good.
generation.
It's good. Our generation was the hardcore.
Was the hardcore
I
always
could
in
not
your beer?
hear, unaniambia nini?
Unaniambia nini?
Nitabadilika nikitoka. But these young people,
Yeah.
this generation of 90, 2000,
Yeah.
they are willing to change.
That's amazing.
Most of them, and I can
Yeah.
say it in camera because I've interacted with most of them, and that's why the rehabs are almost full. Many rehabs,
full capacity, yeah.
these young people, their situation they found themselves into, their addiction was not their will.
You're right.
Sometimes it's the family,
Yeah.
the problem. Actually, do you know, Shiko, sometimes family can be the cause. I know of a man, and he has given me a permission to speak this because he's recovered.
Yeah.
How did he fall into it? You remember the Mishuki time? The Mishuki rules? I don't
Yeah.
know, you must have been in primary school. Now, that time, those
Yeah.
days of Mishuki rules, this young man was working in a matatu. He was a driver.
Yeah.
And he forgot those documents. It was tough if you ukishikwa bila hizo kwa barabara.
Yeah.
It was tough. So he went back to the house to correct the document. They were living in the same compound with the parents. And the guy had done well, he was married,
Yeah.
and he had bought a cow. The father also had a cow. So he went back to take the document. He found his father in his house.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Because Buddha alikuja kukamua, wife akakuja kukamua.
Something happened in
Something
between.
happened in between. They
Oh
ended
my
up in
goodness.
So it's your father with your wife, and he found it. The man was not drinking at all. That night he came and he told the mother. The mother said, "You want to spoil the name of your father? He has a good name in the neighborhood, you know that." He's also in the church. You stop saying that about your father. The young man went to the shopping center. That's where he was. So once he gets the money, he goes to work in the morning, comes, get a room in the lodging in the shopping center. That's why he's sleeping. Anakula hapo, anakunywa. That's how he started drinking. Within a very short time, he was not able to do anything. He started shaking because he could not do anything without drinking. He was unable to work. And that's how he became like that.
I'm so shocked.
I am telling you a true story, a true life story of somebody I know.
Yeah.
We helped him. Yeah. He's now in Mombasa working there.
Oh
God has helped him.
That so, so the family can also be a source of frustration.
Yes.
It can be.
Look at also these divorce cases.
Yeah.
They are affecting our children. You know, these things that people don't want to speak, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
It is so rampant now. Divorce cases, there are so many. And now, at the age people are divorcing, the child is going to university, the child is in Form 4, the other one is Form 2, you know, they can't handle it. I've been with my parents 17 years, both of them together.
Yeah.
What are you telling me now?
Right.
14, 15 years. They start to look for consultation. Where do I consolation?
So what are they turning to?
They are turning to drugs.
Right.
And now, so sometimes we are looking for
solace in the family.
Yes, but we are looking for solution, but the problem sometimes is in the family. We need to address the root of all these things.
All right.
Let's go back and bring the family back how God wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those who, by the way, are experiencing some level of guilt, if you will, both parents and even spouses who feel that perhaps my parenting skills were not good enough, perhaps we didn't do enough, because for example, things might just not be working out between you and your spouse, and you choose to divorce, or things are just not the way you imagined as a parent, and then now this is what has happened. How do they overcome? How do they start that journey of healing, to know that, by the way, sometimes you couldn't have changed the outcome, but there's light at the end of the tunnel?
I don't want to sound so harsh, but sometimes choices have consequences.
Yeah.
And you have to live with them. But there is always a way out.
Yeah.
I am a believer. So I talk as a believer. I strongly believe that everything is possible with God. Because I've seen it work.
Yeah.
I've seen such young people change. I've seen a parent who feel like they did not do good parenting, and that's the cause of God changed their story.
Yeah.
So it's not good to judge yourself so harshly and to start seeing like you are a failure. You're not a failure.
Yeah.
Because of course also there are cases, let me repeat my words, of people who went through that and their children stood and they made the right choices. I have a friend of mine, I asked him why he doesn't drink. He said it's because my father alikunywa sana, and I hated alcohol.
Correct. But I think it usually happens. It's either they are there 100% or they completely hate it. Yeah. So there are cases like that. There are cases like that where children do turn out the complete opposite of what negative image they had before them.
The way I saw my father treat my family. The way I saw us lose everything because of alcohol.
Never.
Yes.
And so what I'm getting from you is, if we want to get to that point, something has to happen. And when you're saying let's get down to the root of it, what I think you're saying is that there's no shame in addressing these things. So can families find healing in speaking up and turning their pain into some advocacy, into some inspiration even for others? Speak to those who are dealing right now to not be ashamed about what's happening at home.
You know, we have a saying in our motherland that if you want to take a bath, you have to undress. You have to remove the clothes.
You have to get naked.
You have to. So it's and also I was listening to my friend who was teaching and speaking something naked but not ashamed. It is time that we face it. Let's people stop being ashamed. Let's people face the reality on the ground. There is a problem here, and we must solve it.
Because we tend to hide the family members who are
Yes.
going through addiction. In fact, how many people do you ever meet who say, oh yes, hi, I have 3 of my kids, and people, they talk proudly, that's Wainaina, that's Peter,
Yes.
that's Wanjiko, but Dede, that one is not
Wachana na
around.
huyo,
Yeah,
wachana na huyo.
she's
Wachana na huyo.
and
That's
and you just don't want to say that
that's
they're
a
in rehab.
big mess, because
Yeah.
you don't know where your help would come from. If you want to help, there's no need of hiding these things anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, very many families are affected. Very many.
And they are hiding them.
And they're hiding them. So stop hiding. There's other people going through that. And maybe you could share.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody could tell you, this is what I did. My son was in this.
Yeah.
And this is what I did.
Right.
There are things that you cannot even hide for long. It will be seen.
Yeah.
So it is good to face it and seek help. And that is the way you help even this person to come out of it.
All right.
When you also accept that there is a problem in my family.
Right.
The victim accept, I have a problem. I am going through this.
Yeah.
And I need help.
Right.
Yes.
For those members of the clergy, our religious leaders, what would you tell them in terms of supporting the community, get better, get healthier? Because I'm sure the church or faith-based institutions have a role, whether
Yes.
it's Muslim, Christian, Hindu,
Yes.
whatever. There is a role.
I've seen it in Central Province.
Yeah.
Because of the number of these young men increasing, I've seen churches starting to embrace them.
Nowadays, it's not a taboo.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. I tell you, I would go and stay with them for a whole hour, listening to them. I've seen churches that have started churches on Sunday specifically for these people.
So now there are safe spaces coming up.
Yes,
I love it.
This is coming up. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you want to tell leaders today, religious leaders,
Let's-
do everything you can to create these spaces.
Especially the Christian leaders.
Okay.
We were called for this.
Yeah.
We were not called for the righteous.
Yeah.
We were not called for those people that are already in churches. We are called for the lost.
Right.
We need to reach out to the lost. We need to support the lost.
Right.
I also encourage churches to open rehabilitation centers.
Why not?
Yes.
Why not? Yeah.
Let them start programs to
Yeah.
help these young people.
Fantastic.
The church can do it.
They can do it.
Yes.
I mean, gone are the days when you would have to experience what Apostle Wainaina had to go through when the very same people in his church kind of shunned you away because
Yes.
of your one night.
Yes.
Your one blunder.
And they had
it
not
felt
planned.
bad.
Yes,
it
very
felt
bad.
horrible.
Very
because
bad.
your own church, your safe space,
Yes.
rejected
It
you.
took a long time for me to
recover from that.
that.
Wow. Well, what's your parting shot to families as we start to say Kwaheri, Apostle Wainaina?
Addiction is the only prison where the locks are in the inside.
I like that.
So it's up to you to make a decision. And with the help of your family members to unlock it. And we also need to understand it, that as much as we are pushing them to go to the rehab, as much as we are forcing them all this, it's only that victim that can unlock from the inside. So as we help them, let us help them with that understanding.
Right.
And I can tell you, they are changing.
Right.
There is hope for this generation. And of course, with God, all things are possible.
Amen to that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. There you go, Apostle Peter Wainaina this morning, giving us a word of encouragement for families, by the way, who are going through this specific challenge at this particular period. He says all is not lost, and I tend to agree with that, with a little bit of love and understanding, and of course patience. There's only, by the way, so little that you can't get over. In fact, the world is the oyster for that individual, and there's so much more to them at the end of the day. And so with that, we hope that you have been inspired by this conversation. We hope that you're motivated to do something for someone who's going through that tough period in their life. Let us know how you felt about this particular conversation, and keep those comments coming on our social media platforms. My name is Shiko Kaitani saying thanks a lot for watching yet again. Have a blessed day up ahead.